Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another segment of Asaph Cafe. I am your host, Asaph Adonai, and we have a kind of a different show today. We're going to call this our 4th of July show. Of course, it's taped in advance. And you can see we have our 4th of July hat and the American flag. And
sparks is flying everywhere.
yeah, so we haven't been taping this show for a while because the MCAT studio has been closed, so this is our first taping for about 2 weeks or something like that.
Partial vacation.
And so we'll be doing our 4th of July show today. We're in our Vegas set once again. And our guest for today is Mr. James Robert Gibson. He's my next door neighbor, and I'll call him Jim, which we call him affectionately Jim at home anyway.
He's our amateur celebrity for the Special Olympics.
Yeah, we can talk about that too. So this is, like I said, this is our 4th of July show, and our topic will be not only 4th of July, but Willie Nelson. And Jim is going to give a review of what he thought of the Willie Nelson concert, because Willie Nelson was here recently. And then, of course, we have our veteran guest and our hostess, Patty Reed. She's been on this show more times than anyone since I've been doing this show. And, of course, our mascot, Pee-wee. And she is sitting in between Jim and Patty. And
she might be getting married very soon.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about that, too. But in the meantime, to start this off, we're going to start, instead of playing the traditional Burt Bacharach, This Guy's in Love with You, since Jim is our guest, we're going to start it with Secret Agent Man.
It's under fire.
Pretty cool song. I like this song. Secret Agent Man, and I never actually got to play the piano for you, so this is a real treat for me to.
Cool, man.
And to play these songs.
Have you been under fire lately? No.
I don't know about that, but
it is hot out there.
yeah, it is hot, but I'm used to it because I grew up in the Sacramento Valley, so it's fun. And
when I grew up, you know what people told me about California? It was the land of fruits and nuts. This is what I was told.
I see. Okay. Well, Jim, thanks for being a part of this show.
Sure, you bet. I'm glad to be
here. Children's song. And you can talk while I'm playing too, because what the premise of the show is, I just invite a guest every week, and they just talk to me as I play the piano. That's
okay.
It. Just like it's based on Humphrey Bogart's Casablanca. You remember that scene? Play it again, Sam.
Long time ago, a little bit before my time.
We're missing the cigar.
Yeah, I don't smoke this. I'm sorry. You know this song, Jim?
Actually, I'd have to say I don't.
Time go by. Okay.
Okay. Okay, now I know what you're.
Time goes by.
I'll do it again. This is from the film Casablanca.
Okay.
Must remember this. A kiss is just a kiss.
Now that she puts the words to it, I know the song.
There you go. Keep singing.
And the wonderful things you are.
do the second part of the song. Time Goes By is the name of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that is called Time Goes By.
There's
from the
actually
movie
a sitcom
Casablanca.
on PBS called that too.
Is it really? Is
Well,
that the
and
English
they
English sitcom?
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I've seen that a couple of times. They do
And they play that
use
song
that song.
every single time.
Mhm.
That's the intro.
Well, Jim, thanks for being part of the cafe today. This
Sure.
is just a simple show, and you never know what we're going to talk about. Usually it's just
That's what I
like
like
I
about
mentioned.
the show.
Yeah, it's impromptu, and we just invite a guest. And the only difference. Take two. Difference
It would
is I play the piano while I'm talking to my guest, and since you're our guest, we're going to center it around you.
Okay.
So,
It would have been cool if Billy Joel could have showed up because fireworks was coming and stuff. He could have said, "We didn't start the fire."
well, here's a little Billy Joe. You know the song?
Yeah, I know the song.
You can't be too sentimental. Baby blue continental, hot funk, cool funk. Even if it's old junk, it's still rock and roll to me.
So we can't get Billy Joel here, but that's the next best thing. Just play Still Rock and Roll to Me.
That's right.
Take the challenge and come by.
So anyway, this is cool, and
We made a challenge to the Celtic women, and they showed up. That was cool. Not here, but they came.
okay.
Cool.
Now, as I mentioned to our studio audience, or I should say our TV audience, Jim is my next door neighbor, so we kind of hang out and talk a lot.
Yeah, we hang out on the front porch a lot.
Yeah, let's say hi to BB. I know she'll probably
Hey,
be watching
BB.
this in the future.
How
Hey,
you
BB.
doing?
Yeah, she also lives next door. She lives upstairs, and Jim lives downstairs, and then I live next door. So Jim is our guest for today. And Jim, you're from Montana, aren't you?
I am from Montana, and I was born in Whitefish, Montana, and
Okay.
I was raised in a little town up north by the Canadian border called Eureka, Montana,
Okay.
until I was about 5.
Okay.
And then my family moved to Missoula in 1979. And
How
then,
old were you when you moved? Do you remember?
6 or 7, somewhere around
And so
there.
you went to grade school in Missoula and high school here in Missoula too?
I did all my schooling here in Missoula.
Okay.
I went from grade school all the way through high school and a little bit of college too. So
Okay. What college did you go to? The university?
I went to the university. It hit the Votech at that time was a college of its own, and then the university bought it and they merged together.
Okay.
So it had just merged back then.
Okay, and
That's when it was cooler when it wasn't merged.
oh, I see. Okay. And were you still living at home at the time when you were going to school?
I was still living at home with my parents at the time.
Okay, cool.
And my parents supported me as far as going to college and those types of things.
Uh-huh.
And I actually didn't move out on my own until 97. I believe it was the end of July in 97.
Mm-hmm.
I finally moved out on my own, and I'm still in my very first apartment. So
Nothing wrong with
Oh
that.
wow,
Nope.
they've been getting booked World Records.
yeah, been in the same place for 17 years.
Oh wow. He's in Guinness Book of World Records for renting.
You got that right. My landlord says I should own the apartment by now.
That is a song called Mañana. I don't know if you've ever heard it or not.
You've
I'll
probably
do it
seen
again.
lots of different management.
We have actually. I've heard of the song. Yeah, I've never heard it, but I've heard of it.
song goes through your mind the day before, doesn't it?
I know. I like that song. It's a
And
cute
he'll do
little
this
song.
July 3rd because 4th of July is the day after.
Yeah, well, you know, when I was growing up, my sister's name is Kim, and she had a little 45 record. They used to have 45 records before the DVDs came out and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the songs on it was Mañana, and my sister used to play that song over and over and over and drive everybody nuts.
Wow.
And then it just stick in your mind, you know. So I've put it into my repertoire. Just got in my repertoire now.
My mom used to have one of the old records that you play at 78.
Oh, one of the old
And
78s.
the one that really got me the most was called, it was a quartet barbershop
Oh,
type male singers. And their favorite song was Yes, We Have No Bananas. So every time we ran out of bananas at home, I'd put that on the stereo and I'd go, Mom, come listen to this song. She goes, are we out of bananas again? Yes, we are.
She got the point.
It was sign language at the finest.
So anyway, so what did you do after you finished school? You moved into your apartment first, right? Because I want the audience to know more about you, so that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, and that's cool. I stayed home for a while,
Okay.
and I got a job working at a place called Joey's Only Seafood Restaurant.
Okay.
I forget exactly what year it was, and I actually did the dirtiest job there was to do. I peeled and deveined shrimp at a little counter in the back of the kitchen, and that's what I did for about 3 hours a day, 3 days a week, and then that advanced to more stuff, and I learned more stuff in the kitchen, like how to make salads and how to prep stuff up and all of that kind of stuff. And then, unfortunately, I lost my job there when the owners of the business had sold it to someone else. The new owners was trying to cut costs, and so they let me go and all that. But I was unemployed for a short time, and then I went to work for the University of Montana, and back then the department that I was working for was known as University Dining Services.
I'm familiar.
And I am a cashier there in the food zoo where all of the school students come and eat during the year, and I sit at a cash register and they give me their Grizz card, which is like a credit card, and I swipe it through my machine and they're good to go. And so I'm basically a greeter. I'm the first face people see as they walk in the door.
Now you're doing stuff with what is the Opportunity?
No, I don't work with Opportunity Resources or anything like that. I have in the past, but I no longer do.
Okay.
I am employed on my own.
Good for you.
But I have coaches and stuff through the work center here in town.
Cool.
And, I work with a few other agencies here in town as well.
So do you like shrimp still?
Actually, you know what, I do. Most people wouldn't, but I toughed it out and I've survived.
Okay, I'm going to play a tune, Jim. Tell me if you know this song. Pat, don't you say a word because I know you're going to know it.
But is that the song off of like Saint Elsewhere or something?
Close.
It's a theme song to something.
Yes, it is. Law and Order.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There we go.
You recognize it now? I'll do the first part again. You recognize it?
Yes, now I do.
We're waiting for the clarinet.
Yeah. That part should have been a dead giveaway there of the song.
We're just waiting for the clarinet.
Well, anyway, I'm going to stop there, but yeah. I mean, every once in a while, I just like to throw in a little TV show there.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Kind of name that tune kind of thing.
Well, we'll probably play Name That Tune more in the second show, but anyway, I want to thank you again for being part of the show here.
Sure, anytime, bud.
You recently went to that Willie Nelson concert, right?
I did.
Yeah, 20 minutes have already gone by on this show already.
Wow.
Yeah, time flies.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, well, we're going to be doing 2 tapings, but I understand you went to that Willie Nelson concert. Why don't you tell the audience what you thought of that concert? Give a little review.
I was able to go to the Willie Nelson concert here. It was on June 17th. A good friend of mine and his family took me, and it was at Ogren Park Field where the Ospreys play.
Okay.
And I actually didn't get that great of a seat, really, because by the time we had gotten there, all the disabled seating and whatnot was taken up, and the place was very crowded. But once the concert started, Willie was with Alison Krauss.
Now, where were you seated? You were supposed to have special seats because of your disability, right? I understand that correctly.
Right. And
you didn't get those seats. Was that it?
Well, all of the seats that are in the stadium were taken, so the ushers had to get a folding chair for me and my friend, and they stuck us in section 103, which is right at the top where all the snack vendors and stuff are, and so we got to sit right there, and I guess that was a bonus because we were fairly close to the food,
but far away from the performance.
Far away from the performance, and actually when Willie came out or Alison Krauss came out, they looked about that big, which is not big at all, but their voices were great. And I liked the fact that when Alison Krauss came out, she sang all of her songs.
She did?
And I knew every single one.
So she was the opening act first before Willie came out?
Her and Union Station were the opening act.
Okay.
And she sang for maybe hour and a half, something like that.
How long did Willie Nelson sing?
Maybe 45 minutes.
That sounds right.
If we were lucky.
Yeah, because usually when a big name does a concert, they usually have an opening act that you enjoy, and then the big name comes out. But I'm really glad you got to see Willie Nelson.
Yeah, and then after Allison, they took a break and changed the set around a little bit, and then they brought Willie out, and I forget his opening song that he did, but he would do a little bit of this song, a little bit of that song.
Yeah, medley, yeah. Well, that's because, for time's sake,
start.
It's called a medley because it would take too long to physically do every single hit in its entirety, especially the extended version. So usually what artists will do is they'll do like bits and pieces of each song so that everybody gets a piece of everything.
I was really surprised when I went to the Celtic Women that, it seemed like they didn't have all the instruments, the musicians there and things, but they managed to get at least half. The other half was in Great Falls, so I was right about that. And I was dead center on the upper level, and I got to see everybody really good, but it was so funny because it was like there was fog there and everything was purple.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, so it was a purple silhouette type thing.
That was Pee Wee's song, by the way, even though she's not a cat.
Yeah, and the one thing I do remember about the Willie Nelson concert is that the last song that he did do the full version of that, and it was "Roll Me Up and Smoke Me When I Die."
Okay. Well, the reason I chose to talk about Willie Nelson in this 4th of July show is because I think Willie Nelson is the perfect entertainer with 4th of July. I think the 4th of July and Willie Nelson go hand in hand.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
And he also does, usually every year he does what he calls his Farm Aid concert.
Yeah,
in different places, and so
that's
I'm sure.
Well, here's a little plug. So Willie Nelson, if you ever see this show, we are dedicating this show to you personally and our
and come
4th
by
of
the
July.
And say hi.
Yeah, right.
Well, you never know. I mean, maybe Willie Nelson will see this show one day. The name of this show is called Asaph Cafe, so who knows?
never know.
Yeah. Come on by.
Yeah, but he's got the look. He's got the Western look, the ponytail look, and that just goes with 4th of July to me.
That's his rebellious look too.
Yeah, I know. I realize that, but I mean that it works. I used to have a film clip of Willie Nelson as a young man when he didn't even have the ponytail. He had his hair parted, dark hair, black hair. He was really young.
I've seen him a couple of times with no long hair and stuff.
Yeah,
and yeah.
But he's just been an excellent singer over the years. I'm not exactly a big fan of country music, I have to admit, but there are some people I do like, and Willie Nelson's one of them.
Yes.
He's just got that voice that I don't even know how to describe it.
I do an impersonation.
Okay, let's hear it, Willie.
Okay, now I've always thought that Willie has a little bit of a nasal thing, so here we go. For all the girls I've loved before, climbing up my window and door.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I do know this. when Willie Nelson got his start, he was one of the players in. He worked for a guy named Ray Price.
I've heard of Ray Price. I've heard of him.
I'm not sure if a lot of people know who he is, but
they probably won't remember. I know who he is. Yeah,
I know who he is too. A few years back, I actually got to go see Mr. Price in concert here in Missoula, and I knew every one of his songs too. And then after the show, I was able to go up, and I didn't get an autograph, but I did get to shake the man's hand and say hello. So
Charlie Rich and Ray Price, yeah.
Oh yes, oh yes.
That's all I know on that that Willie Nelson song. There's a little piano version of it there.
To all the girls I've loved before.
Well, yeah. I wish, huh? Nah, let's not go there. Anyway, but you enjoyed yourself at the Willie Nelson concert?
I did. It was fun.
If you were to give a review, how would you review the concert? That's something we've never done on the cafe here. So, give a music review. What would you say if you were a music?
My mic fell off here.
That's okay. Try to pin it back on your shirt there if you can.
Well, Patty, can you pin me up?
Yeah, put it on his left side there, or the right side, either one.
Either way.
Okay. Don't get any ideas, audience. This is just a test run.
There we go. So how would I rate the Willie Nelson concert?
Yeah, if you were to give a review, how would you rate it?
Well, once it got started, it was really, really well.
Good.
And Willie sounds the same as he always did.
Well, yeah, it's Willie Nelson.
He hasn't really changed, and I just figured that he was singing through all of his songs real fast because he was living on borrowed time. But
well, no, like I said, it was for time's sake. They do that. That's called a medley, like I mentioned.
Yeah.
Because it would take too long to sing every literal song all the way through in a regular concert. So if you want to give your audience a piece of everything, you do bits and pieces. Then that way everybody goes home happy.
Well, and that's very true.
And you do like your big hits, and then you throw in some of your original stuff too. And that's usually how it's done.
He did a couple songs by his buddy Waylon Jennings.
Okay.
He did some of that. I remember that.
You know, Waylon Jennings did the music to the Dukes of Hazzard television show.
Yes, he did.
You remember that guitar that you saw?
Yep,
you didn't see him.
You saw his fingers and
you
the
saw
guitar.
the fingers, yeah. Mm-hmm. That was Waylon Jennings, from what I understand,
just
playing
good old
that.
Boys.
Yeah, let's see if I can pick that up. Something like that.
Yeah, that was
my
really
version
close,
of my version of Dukes of Hazzard. I used to watch that show too, you know.
All the time.
What I liked about that show, I didn't particularly care for that southern atmosphere, being an African American person, but I did like that car and the stunts that they did, you know.
The old General Lee.
That was kind of cool,
Charger.
you know, watching that that car in action.
There's actually a man that sings that song every time at karaoke.
You know, I just, earlier today, since we were talking about the Dukes of Hazzard, I looked up the actress, Catherine Bach, I think was her name.
I did too today.
She's like in her 60s, late 60s now. I'm like, that's incredible, because it just makes me feel old. You know, you think of, what's her name, was Daisy Duke or whatever it was on that show?
Yep.
She was like, hot. And when I'm not saying she's not hot now, I'm just saying, you know, you get like 60 or 70, you don't look like you necessarily did when you're like 30.
She had Barbie doll legs, yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. I know we all age, but I looked her up just earlier today because I was looking up cast members of certain TV shows and stuff like that. And I looked up Lee Majors, a $6 Million Man. I don't know if you remember him.
Funny in commercials.
He also played, Lee Majors also played on a show that I love watching. It's The Fall Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I looked up The Fall Guy. I looked up the cast of The Fall Guy. And these people are like in their 50s and 60s now.
The funny part about him singing that song, that theme song, he's the one that sang it. Mm-hmm. Well, Chuck Norris tried the same thing kind of in the Lone Ranger one, Texas Ranger. They have the same tone.
It's about, yeah. So, and it's interesting that you brought up Catherine Bach and the cast from Dukes of Hazzard because I looked them up on Twitter today and I found they all have Twitter pages and I friended them on Twitter today. So
here's the theme of the $6 Million.
We have the technology. We can put him back together. He'll be more computerized than before.
Something like that.
There used to be a TV show, The Captain and Tennille, and they were making fun of that. They made a skit called The Bionic Watermelon.
Oh, really?
It was
I never
funny.
saw that. I
It
never
was a
saw
fruit
that.
truck that went by, and a watermelon fell off, and then this white van shows up, and they're scooping it up in a little broom, and in a dustpan. They take it back and do the. We have the technology. We can put it back there, and so it makes.
Well,
it
you
good.
know, my nickname was Steve Austin when I was in high school because, you know, I wasn't 56 years old then, and I used to run track. I ran the cross country, and was the 440 if I remember correctly, and the 880.
Did you have a lot of dust under
And
your
I was
feet?
quick. I was very quick, so my nickname was Steve Austin.
Oh, nice.
And I used to watch the $6 Million Man when I was in high school. That
Did
was
you have
my
one of those
favorite
dolls
show.
that you had to
One of my
lift
favorite
the whole
shows.
back of the head?
And you know, to this day, when I looked up Lee Majors earlier today, I saw him in an interview, and they asked him, "What was your favorite episode of the $6 Million Man?" And he said the one with the Sasquatch. You remember that one when he
Oh,
fought that
yeah.
Sasquatch
Barely.
monster?
Yeah, I love the special
He had
effects
two.
sounds.
Yeah, Lee Majors had 2 encounters with the Sasquatch. That was cool.
Uh-huh.
And the first one, you know, the Sasquatch didn't know who the $6 Million Man was, and they had these space creatures was watching the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And that Sasquatch made Lee Major's life miserable when they were having that first fight. But the
Sure.
second time, they kind of teamed up. And so what the space creatures did was they had to make Lee Majors forget the Sasquatch in the second one after the mission was over.
Mm-hmm.
So after Lee Majors forgets who the Sasquatch ever was, he sees him. And so it was almost like the very first encounter. He sees him out of the corner of his eye, that right eye with that bionic eye. But the Sasquatch also had bionic power, so he disappeared before Lee Majors could really get a fix on him.
Cool.
And I just thought that was an interesting.
My favorite was when
plot line.
Lindsay Wagner and Lee Majors started together, Bionic Woman.
Yeah,
The
I
first
like
time
the
they're-
Bionic Woman. That's
The
pretty
first time
cool.
they're running, the funny part is the special effects sound effects. So you have double going on, you know, at the same time. That's funny. And then they threw in a German Shepherd called Max. He was bionic too.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he had the whole family. They're both showing off, leaping over 10-foot fences.
I don't know how to end that, but that's my version of the $6 Million Man. But anyway, that was my nickname in high school for
Oh,
track.
wow.
They called me Steve Austin. And
We'll get you the doll.
you know, if I had my whole life to live over again, I'm not saying I would have been no Olympic champion or anything like that, but I wish I would have got the opportunity to really train when I was in high school and early college. Who knows, maybe I would have got on a
We can
college
get you
track.
running again. We'll
Oh,
have
that's
We'll have bill
unthinkable
collectors
now.
chasing you. That'll work.
I'll be 57 years old. My body is not up to snuff on something like that now. I mean, I may not necessarily look my age, but even as small as I am on the inside, I can feel it.
Oh, I'm sure.
I can feel the muscles are not working as quickly as they did when I was in my early 20s. But I wish I would have got the chance to train, because who knows, maybe I would have been able to get on a college track team or...
But
Maybe,
you know, we could also get a bunch of high-class, beautiful women, and you'll run real fast.
I don't know. But no, my track days are over. But I have a lot of memories, though.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when I was in junior high school, I missed the presidential by 10 seconds. Now, I
Wow.
know that's a lot, 10 seconds by running standards, but when you're in the 7th grade, that's not as bad as if you were, like, say, a senior in high school, for example. Because you were supposed to run the mile under 6 minutes. And I ran it in 6:10 when I was in the 7th grade.
Oh, that's close, man.
Yeah, that's really close. Now, that was when I was in the 7th grade. And probably, I'd say a year or two later, I might have been able to break that at the time, because I only got faster
Wow.
from... And, of course, you know, you have to train for that. And I had some
How
pretty
many
good
cheerleaders
coaches.
were out there when you were running?
Well, I went to this junior high, and the junior high I went to, we had this, like, they called it a bowl. It was like this track, you know how they had tracks, but underneath was like a football field, like a bowl, but it was just nothing but weeds and stuff, because they were just, you know, putting it together at the time. But it had an outer, like, wooden, not wooden, but dirt road that ran around. And it was like the same size of a regular track. So it was pretty cool.
Cool.
Now, you know, I haven't been in junior high school in like almost 50 years, so I don't even know if that track is still there now. I went to Foothill Junior High School in Sacramento. Foothill
Wow.
Junior High, and they had that track.
I've been to Sacramento a few times, and it's a nice city. I like it there.
Yeah, I did. I went to Foothill Junior High School when I was in the 7th grade, and I started. Well, actually, before I really started concentrating on track, when my family lived overseas in Taiwan, we went to this school. It was called the Dominican School. And it was like a big Oral Roberts University, and they had like the kindergarten students and the seniors all on the same campus, but it was sectioned off, so you never saw seniors with little kids. It was sectioned off because it was a big campus.
Oh, I bet.
And we were running cross country then. I was in the 3rd grade then, and there was this mountain behind the campus, a huge mountain, and they had the course that they had us run on, kind of paved, like a smooth dirt paved road, and it literally took an hour to run that whole course. So like on a Friday, we'd run cross country, and then by the time we got finished, PE was over.
Wow.
And I was starting to get pretty good then.
The only thing that I've done that could even compare to that much running is I used to do the Relay for Life event.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Every year, and it's a fundraiser for cancer research and whatnot. I walked for 12 straight hours on the track.
How long did it take you? Do you remember how long it took you when you walked that long?
I walked for 12 straight hours. I started walking at like 7:30 in the morning.
Okay.
I kept going, except for maybe a food break. I kept going, and I stopped at like 7:30 that evening, and I had gone through 2 pairs of tennis shoes.
Oh,
actually.
okay. Yeah. Well, that's pretty cool. And you know, I have to admit, I've not walked your shoes as far as the disability you have. I've always relatively been blessed with health, but I've done some stuff with people with challenges. Like one year, the Jeffrey Foundation in Los Angeles, I don't know if you ever heard of them.
No.
Well, they invited me to play for them for 3 days at that time, and so I had a little bunk, like, and it was cool being with all these children. All of them had disabilities and stuff, like some would have walkers and things, but they were just the coolest kids to hang around with, and play hide and seek and all that stuff, and do my music for these kids and stuff. And
cool.
The actress Connie Stevens was there. She was the guest. You probably may have never heard of her.
No.
She was known for her gorgeous blonde hair and her movies that she did.
She did some commercials for Cedar Parrot.
Yeah, so when she was in her heyday, and so she showed up at the foundation, and she was our guest.
Nice.
I was the invited musician, but she was the guest. So it was cool not only playing for these kids at the Jeffrey Foundation at that time, but playing for the actress Connie Stevens. It was a lot of fun.
I bet.
And there was one guy, I think his name was Jim, if I remember right. He was just the coolest guy, and he kept hanging out with us. Okay, cool, let's do this, you know.
Right.
And so he was kind of like my sidekick, you know, with
I
all
bet.
these kids. It was just such a blast.
Wow.
And there was another girl there named Paprika. That was her real name. And she couldn't talk, and I think she could barely see. She was like really frail, real thin little girl. But she was just a sweetie. I don't even know if she's still alive anymore, with us anymore. Because some of these kids had like really severe disabilities, and some were more mild in comparison.
Yeah. Well,
and, but it was fun.
I tried to get into running, but my right knee would lock. And so it was kind of like playing baseball all the time, because a lot of times I'd get running and then I'd be sliding in here and sliding there. So I kind of gave up the jogging thing. I walk just fast now.
Well, yeah, you can do speed walking and stuff. But see, the thing is, I've never had those disabilities, and I'm thankful to the Lord for that. But at the same time, I can take what I have to either befriend people with challenges, maybe do my music with challenges, you know, people with challenges. It just depends, you know, and that sort of thing.
Well, I've had my disability all my life. I have what's known as spastic cerebral palsy, and I'm lucky. For me, there's no pain associated with it.
Good for you.
And I do walk with a walker most of the time. But I try not to let my disability get me down. I do just as much as anybody else would do, maybe sometimes even more. So.
Yeah, well, we could probably talk about that further in the next show. We're just about running out of time.
The good news, though, when you go to kick somebody's butt, you got your walkers for the you know, the 2 extras. So there you go.
Well, yeah, I've done a few butt kickings.
Okay, I'm going to play the Moonlight Sonata for you, and then that'll be the conclusion of this song here. And you'll be able to say somebody's played the Moonlight Sonata for you.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that song, Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata?
I've heard it before,
Well, I'm going to play it just for you. You recognize this song?
Yeah.
These keys are not working as well as they should. So just keep that in mind.
Okay.
This is Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata. See, it's hard to really express yourself on these kind of instruments like you could on the piano.
Mm-hmm.
Phoebe's being very emotional.
Oh, yes.
She's the mascot, Phoebe. She's acting it out for you.
So you've heard this song before?
Long time ago, yeah. Maybe like at a recital or something.
It's dramatic song, Phoebe. Just dramatic.
Well, just you can always say that Asaph played this for you.
Yes, Phoebe is very dramatic. It's her scene.
Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata.
Well, Phoebe took a stand for your sonata.
That's good. I'm playing a little bit faster than it normally goes, for time's sake.
Right.
Are you acting out the part, Phoebe? Okay.
It's just really hard to really express yourself with classical music on these kind of instruments.
Mm-hmm.
At least in my opinion.
You're doing
We're about
better than me.
3/4 into this song right now.
Minus marvelous chopsticks.
Mm-hmm.
And wagon train. I can do wagon train.
Oh, cool.
So we're almost done with the song.
Well, you have Phoebe's ears perked. She's on the case.
It's a beautiful song though.
Yeah.
And we're approaching the conclusion now.
They should play this song at my dentist's office. That way it would make things a little more soothing.
Yeah, to prepare you for the.
Well, if they ever need a pianist for that, I'll play this for real while you're getting your teeth done.
Okay.
It's a drilling sensation.
Yes.
And the conclusion. Beautiful song.
Oh, a paw up. You got a paw up for that one.
Yeah. But like I said, the only problem is with these kind of instruments, it's hard to really
Hang on.
express yourself because the keys are hard to push down, first of all, so you can't get that
Right.
smooth like you really want and so
Right.
on. But when in Rome, have to do what's provided for you.
Have to do what you can.
I did come up with a theory on how Greece can solve their problems. If they can sell 1 trillion gallons of olive oil and 1 trillion gyros, they'll be out of debt.
Well, and on that note, it's time to quit. So let's make some final acknowledgments once again. And Jim, thanks for being part of the show. I mean, 45 minutes or so has already gone by.
Wow.
And we're going to take a break and have you do the second part of our show. And Pee-wee, our mascot, she's waving with a little help from Mommy here. And, of course, we have our veteran guest and our hostess, Patty Reed. Patty, thanks for being part of this.
Get hot twice.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this show. And we're going to do a second show. So until our next show, Maranatha.
Bye, BB. We'll see you later.
Good girl. Now it's time to put the meter full of coins.
That's a wrap.
Yeah, it's wrapped up and taken it off.